Hello, welcome to our homestead. We're gearing up for a cold week this week. It's going to be the temperatures the coldest so far this winter, down to below zero it looks like. And so we are kind of mentally and physically preparing for that. We also are supposed to be getting a little bit of snow, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not complaining because I do like to see some snow. As long as we can get it where I don't have to get out and drive, that will be preferable to me, because I'm not terribly experienced with driving in the snow. Even though I spent a lot of my growing up years up north, the Northland of North Dakota in Michigan, that was many, many moons ago before I was driving. So we'll see what this week holds. One thing on our agenda this week is checking out those water tanks. We need to find a way to keep these water tanks from freezing because we need water. We pump our water from our well. We use the solar well pump, and we pump it up the hill. And if you can see these these holding tanks behind me, they're way off in the distance. We pump the water into those tanks, and then we gravity feed it down to the house. And it's a great system, but if it freezes, we're gonna be out of water. So we're gonna have to come up with a good system so that we have uninterrupted water supply, because everybody needs water. So maybe you could share with me what you guys do if you have holding tanks and if you do gravity feed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure last winter we got to a time where they did freeze a little bit, but to be honest, last winter we didn't really have a very long stretch of cold. We just had a fairly mild winter last year with just a little bit of snow. So they're forecasting several inches, and for this area, that's something, it'll kind of shut our town down. Nobody around here does too much snow. So we're gonna wait and see what my husband can come up with, because he should be coming back tomorrow. He's been out of town, and we've been holding down the fort as there has been a serious sickness in the family. So we have to come up with a solution that works, because it looks like we're gonna be having this situation going on for a little bit. And we're also gonna have our winter situation going on for, a couple months still. So let's figure out what we can do with the water tanks. Let's check into progress, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day in East Tennessee. I'm just enjoying the sunshine, pumping a little bit of water into the tanks now, and then pretty soon I'm gonna be turning on the inverter because we are losing sunlight rapidly. You can see the angle of the sun behind me. It is going down. Even though the sun is not completely down, we still have light in the sky. The solar panels are dark, so there's no more getting energy from the sun today. The day is truly dying in the west, and we have to think of alternate ways to get our water. So we're bypassing the solar panels. We're going straight to the batteries through the inverter. So we'll take the energy from the batteries and we'll get our water tank filled up. Okay, the time has come. Dun, 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 dun. While our water tank is filling, I'm gonna do something I've been waiting to do for a little while, wild hair and all. I'm gonna sit down because we just in the mail got this big whole seed catalog. This is not the little one that they give you. This is the big one that's half the size of a phone book. It's actually twice the size of our phone book because we have a small town. This is a 500-page seed catalog from Baker Creek, and I'm just gonna sit here for a few minutes and enjoy it. I'm not really looking to buy anything. I'm just looking to look at the beautiful pictures because it's so inspiring. Mid-January, which is where we are, you start getting the hankering for looking at beautiful plants. And it's kind of like garden therapy when you can't go out to your garden, right? Are you dreaming of what you're gonna plant? Do you love looking at the pictures? I like looking at the different seed catalogs. We got a different one. I'm trying to look at my wild hair. We got a different one that I was looking at earlier, and I think it was Johnny's, and I was looking at the sunflowers, and I'll have to admit that I liked looking at them, but it's not the same as the Baker Creek catalog, because the Baker Creek catalog has such gorgeous pictures. Let me just show you a few. Okay, here's the first one I opened it up to. The Bells of Ireland. It's got a full page spread, and that's a certain kind of green, complete with Lucky Charms. It gives you such beautiful ideas. Like here they're having a tea party with their chamomile tea, 3 different kinds of chamomile. One of them looks a lot like the St. John's, but it's the Kelway Golden Chamomile. So I like to look through this catalog because it's educational. It's more than a seed catalog. It's the history of the plants. It's folklore from the regions and recipes. It just gives you all kinds of wonderful ideas, and it's such a good way to calm down and enjoy yourself on a cold winter day. So I'm going to disappear for a little while, but take a look at this page here where it shows the Merveille des Quartes Saisons. I don't speak French. It's a lettuce, and it looks like they have like a beet hummus that they've made. I just like to look at this. The beautiful melons, the gorgeous flowers. So we have squash, beautiful tomatoes. We get so many of our tomatoes from Baker Creek, and this year is going to be no exception. We're going to try I've been wanting to try this, I think it's called bread and salt tomato. Look that one up and see if you think that one sounds really amazing. Also the brown sugar tomato. I don't even get into tomato varieties like Greg does, but wow, there's some beautiful ones. If you ever want to branch out beyond the normal Baker Creek seed catalog, which is wonderful in and of itself, then this one you can order. You have to pay for it. It's like $14, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a coffee table book that you can just look at whenever you want to decompress. So, yeah. Such amazing things that they have. The photographer who does their work is so talented. I love, oh wow, look at this. This is bee balm. I'd love a picture full of the different kinds of bee balm like this. It's gorgeous. Yes, on my list. It's called Spearlarton, which it looks just like bee balm to me. I don't know. It says Spearlarton mix. Beautiful mix of this pollinator-friendly perennial. It is a bee balm. It's just the name of it. And other kinds of bee balm. This one I already have growing, I'm pretty sure. Getting some wonderful ideas. Look at that. I don't want to bore you by just looking through the seed catalog, but this fruit is one that I have on my list to grow. It's called the garden huckleberry, and I have had my eye on it. We have some native huckleberries that are growing with our native blueberries outside, but they're so small, and they're, it takes a lot to pick like 1 cup. But these are more productive, and I just am getting carried away by the description and I mean, come on, you have to imagine this pie looks pretty good. So I'm going to add this to our growing thing this year. 35 seeds for $3, and I'm hoping it will grow pretty fast because I'd really like to try these. They say it makes amazing pies and jams when slightly sweetened and cooked. Another thing that I want to try this year is these peppers. They have a totally heatless habanero a couple pages over, which I have been intrigued by. I like to try the different peppers, but I am not a hot pepper person. So I want to try this sugar sweet habanero, which is called the habanada. And then I want to try this one called the murasaki. Look at how beautiful they are. The blooms and the purple and red peppers, they look like hot peppers, but they're sweet. And so for the ornamental value and the flavor, I want to grow those. And I'm gonna try to stop, but did you know that you could eat petunias? I never knew that. petunias. It said it makes a beautiful syrup, and look, they've made a pink one and a turquoise color one, and they're eating it on this waffle. This was intrigued. This was in their regular catalog that I saw. I was like, wow, that would be so amazing to eat on a waffle or cupcakes or something. Yeah, always learning. This is just gorgeous. I'd love to try some of these things. Sometimes I'm blown away by the things that you learn. Edible flowers. Here's one where they made some petunia syrup. My goodness, it looks interesting. I don't know if it would taste like flowers. Pretty sure I read this one that it actually has a somewhat of a cherry flavor. Hints of cherry and almond can be used in jellies and homemade beverages. It says they made donuts out of these petunias. So I am learning something every day. Every day you should learn something. So yeah, I hope I'm not trying to sell this because I don't gain anything. I just love looking at all the things, and it's going to take me a while to fully digest everything in this beautiful seed catalog. First item on our agenda for getting this house ready for the winter is big. We have to clear out this corner behind me, and I purposefully have blurred it so you don't see every bit of the mess, but it's a big enough mess that you can see. We have that giant planter to move out of here, and it is up for sale if anyone wants to buy it. Okay, we have flying debris. We are going to be putting a 275-gallon IBC tote in that corner, which happens to be pretty close to the wood fire, and that's going to be our water source for the next week or so, and any other time that we deem it necessary during this long winter. Just to be clear, we have to move that. It's basically a 4-foot by 4-foot tank through this house where we have so much of our stuff stored, and yes, it's been kind of a wreck down here. It's been a somewhat organized wreck, but we're trying to get it through here, so we have our work cut out for us how to get that thing through here and still not lose our sanity today. In order to get the tank into our house, first we have to get it down the hill. So that's the first order of business. While I try to keep this corner, I try to keep cleaning it out. We have to clean out a whole other area to bring it through, like 4 feet by 4 feet, and you don't know how hard that is through our area. But let's look at the sky for a moment. We have a patch of blue. There's the greenhouse, because we're about to get a winter storm, and it's going to be gray for a few days, like all week. The boys grabbed the first tank that was here, and that's the one that we've been filling. We have several more to fill at some point when we get them connected, but that's a project for another day. Anyway, this is a tank that I painted not so very long ago, and you see it's not holding up at all, and it's really not been under this tarp too well, but I'm putting it under this tarp better because the sun is just really, I don't even know if it's the sun that's making it. I think it's just the flexing and just flaking off really badly. So yeah, painting the tank was a nice idea, but it doesn't really work as far as keeping it on there. And so I'm gonna try, the next thing is putting copper down in there and seeing if that will help with the algae. But for now, I'm gonna keep it covered. The boys took the tank, they took the other tank down the hill, and now Andrew is scrubbing it out. He's getting the chance to do that. I'm securing this with a rock so it doesn't blow away, hopefully. He's scrubbing that out before we take it into the house, and that way we don't have to do it when we're in the house. It's kind of a messy job. And when I did it, thankfully, it was during the hot season, and now it's cold and it's in the 30s, and it's no fun to be scrubbing a tank, but that is the life we lead. So, yippee. So Andrew's scrubbing away at that tank. I don't think it has too much algae because it really has not been storing water, so it really should not be a big deal. We may just kind of wipe it out with some bleach and rinse it and then let that be what we do. Right now we have pretty clear skies and we have full sun on our solar panels, which is a good thing because we want to get our batteries supercharged up today before the week of clouds. We have a week where some days are not even going to get above the teens, so that's pretty cold for East Tennessee. We're charging the batteries for everything in the house, and I'm going to be getting gas today because we're going to have to use the backup generator to charge the batteries when they go low. I'm also running the solar pump to finish topping off that water tank up top. I did a load of laundry anticipating that we wouldn't be doing any for a while. I'm going to go check and see if anybody else has some, and then I just want to get that tank filled up because when we get this other tank inside, then we can cut the water from the top tank, or however we do this, we can drain that tank down into this one underground and everything, and then this one will fill up. So we won't necessarily have to rely on the solar pump if we don't have sun once we get done messing around. Should we, I'm sure you're thinking this, should we have figured out this whole system of getting a water tank in the house before the freezing weather came? Of course we should have. Should we have done it in the summer when it was easier? That would have been great. But we've been up here for all these years and so many projects steal our time, and so it's not like we were just sitting back doing nothing. We have been super busy doing other projects, and frankly last winter we didn't get all that much cold weather. We just had like a week when it was an issue. So yeah, you just have sometimes you just have to take things as they come. At least we're doing it when it's like this instead of when it's snowing. So we're gonna check back tomorrow, and I hope we see some white stuff, and I hope we're settled in by then. Another reason why I'm running the solar pump is because we're using a lot of water right now to wash this tank out. Here she is. It's not too bad, taking too much space. We forgot to clean the outside of it though. Clean the inside, but not the outside. Oh well. Here's me just doing my part, filling the tanks. Fast forward a couple days, and as you can see, we did get some snow. A lot of it, in fact. A good 8 inches, and that caused a few things, including some problems with our solar well pump and inverter. When it rains, it pours, doesn't it? Through the ups and downs, we can appreciate the beauty of the snow and the winterland. We have a winter wonderland still here in Upper East Tennessee. Seems to be a frozen world. I can tell you there's a big difference between 30, which usually feels pretty cold, and 0, which is a big difference. Today we're right around 30. Everything is frozen, and so yeah, we still have snow, but everything is crusted over, so I'm trying to be super careful where I walk because I don't really want to end up on my backside. We're getting moments of sun, and so we've got our solar well pump on, only enough to fill all the underground pipes. So 50 or 30 and windy is kind of chilly. Big surprise. We're just taking the little bit of good weather, of sunshine that we can get. We have about 50 gallons if we turn on the well pump. All the lines, the water lines in the ground running up to the tank, that's about 50 gallons worth. So it'd be surprising to find out how much we can actually pull off of just by filling the pipes. And we don't really want to let the tank fill up because then we have the danger of it freezing. So I'm just walking around here. I came to do the well pump and experience a brief bit of sunshine. We have a little break in the clouds, and I don't even know if you can see it. It's almost not worth mentioning. The guys have just finished sanding the whole main part of the house, and so next is polyurethane on that so we can get that sealed. Adam has been sanding. He's doing the finish sand on the walnut countertops. They are looking great. And Andrew is putting up trim, and so I've been doing household stuff like folding laundry, putting it away, filling the Berkey, just the stuff that we have to do, taking mason jars from the camper to the shop, all the things, putting things away, the unseen things that just have to be done every day, or else you get behind. And so now that the wind is picking up, I am getting off of this hill, and I'm regretting my choice of not wearing a coat because it felt so balmy compared to 0. And I'm gonna be very careful walking down here because this ice is no joke. I found that out the other day. Yeah, you gotta stay safe and watch out for that ice. And checking the level of the water inside. And today's goal is not to fill the tanks, but to get the water pumped up to the level of the tanks. And then that's it, because this down here, this connection, actually when it gets water, then it's frozen. And actually, there is some water in the tank, a little bit, like an inch on the bottom, and it is frozen solid. So I kind of suspect that there may be water in these lines that's also frozen. That line all the way up there has had water in it. I don't know if I really want to disturb it right now. This is what we've been doing this week, pumping the water into the pipe and then using that water as we've been out of water because of one thing after another, partially the freezing weather, water or snow on the solar panels, and the inverter going out on us. So we kind of are in a pinch right now. We'll probably pick up some drinking water in town. The boys are figuring out an alternative system, a holding tank system, which they're working on. There's a pressure tank and a pump that's going to be taking water from one of these that we have inside. So that hopefully will allay some of this frustration when it's really cold. Thankfully, we don't get really cold like this too often, but when we do, we have to deal with it. It's always something on the homestead. Even though it is frustrating with some setbacks, we have a beautiful view, and it's nice to get to the top to get some perspective. Oh goodness, if I had seen this earlier, I wouldn't have been so hopeful about getting some water pumped. I don't think these solar panels are doing anything much. Andrew is getting the pressure tank ready to be hooked up. He's going to, this whole system here is going to be plumbed into those lines, which are hooked up to the holding tank up top, and we're going to use that to fill this holding tank here, which is pretty close to the fire. So it will keep it'll keep us in water that's not frozen when the system gets frozen. He's made this shelf, and that's where the pressure tank and the pump, which you can see here, is going to go. It's a Drummond pump from Harbor Freight. And we're hoping to have this going within the next little while because we're racing against time with the water lines getting frozen. I think we're supposed to be down to 0 or -1 tonight. Everyone needs a trusty assistant. There's what we were waiting for, a full tank. Okay, on days like this, sometimes I truly wonder, can we get a break? It just seems like sometimes on the homestead, off-grid living, it is one thing after another, and that certainly has been like that today, every day, the last little while. We had the hard freeze, all that snow, frozen lines. We're trying to fix frozen PEX lines, and he keeps getting fittings, random stuff. Like the fitting he got today was a kind of more expensive fitting, and when he hooked it on, we had water spraying everywhere, and it turns out the fitting had a hole in it. So random, and one crazy thing after another. I was happy we had a little bit of sun, and then it went away and we had all this water, and so I started laundry, and then midway through we had to abandon that. So I've got a washer full of laundry, full of water, halfway full of water, whatever, mid-cycle, that we had to stop because we were having issues with our well pump and with our inverter. Yeah, I think we might have dripped water on it. So all these things, Adam thankfully has been chugging away, just doing what he does, chugging away. These kitties are driving me batty. Yeah, I don't remember everything else, but I was just getting so frustrated because I'd like to be able to wash the dishes, take a shower, and wash some laundry, and I thought I was going to catch up on that, but that did not happen today. So I broke down and I called RPS Solar Company because our inverter came from them when we got our solar well pump. And I just needed to find a brand, I needed to find the pricing on it, I just needed to replace that thing. And so such a random thing happened. They sent me over to the service department, and after pictures being exchanged and things, they just said, well, we're sending you a new one. It's going to be covered under warranty. And I wasn't expecting that at all. Was not fishing for a new one. I was just going to, you know, bite the bullet and buy one. And so that's a blessing that happened today. One blessing among the little frustrations. I've been doing a lot of research trying to figure out how to get my vintage stove going. It turns out I'm going to have to replace some of the valves, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around how to do that, what that's going to involve, because it's so above my understanding. Andrew has been really good at doing the plumbing, the gas lines, so he's on that, trying to figure that out. And I've been in contact with several of the vintage stove experts, and they have been helpful, sending me schematics and different things like that. So we're trying to figure this out because that's the next major thing, getting that stove hooked up and running so we can move in. The epoxy arrived today for the countertops. Adam got the bathroom door done, and almost done. He has to do the little latch, but it's almost done. Things are looking good there. And so those are some bright spots among the frustrations of off-grid life. I'm just telling you the good, the bad, and the ugly, because sometimes I was happy when the power went out. I wasn't happy when the power went out. I was happy, although the power went out on our road, we still had power. And then all these other frustrating things. So I wonder, is it best to be off grid or is it not? It's just a lot of work, and I'm thankful for the small blessings. Today I'm thankful that we have an inverter coming so I can get water pumped. And here's the little terror, one of the tiny terrors. Say hello and goodbye. On to the next thing. Bye-bye snow. It's all going away. We do have a hint of blue, which we are not supposed to be having, so I turned the well pump on for whatever time we can get. And hear the nice birds. Thank you for coming by. I do appreciate it. If you would like to subscribe and keep up with our homesteading, off-gridding, DIY, and cabin building journey, please hit the subscribe button and go ahead and like it if you enjoy what we're doing, and let us know anything that you think of that could help us or that could help somebody else with this DIY journey. Thanks.